for me? No, you're good.
No, I'm good, yeah.
It's in an advanced manual. It's called Closing the Sale.
It's from the Successful Club series.
It's Successful Club Series.
Do you like this?
The outline is not a script and should not be read word for word. Instead, use the document as a... I don't think there is one.
No, there isn't.
No.
Okay. These are speeches that they're more educational speeches that Toastmasters give to you, and you put them in your own words. So, Rich DeVoe has been in the club about 2 years, and he's wearing a great looking hat there.
He borrowed from me.
He borrowed from you. Okay.
And I took a break too from the club, just to let you know that anyone can do that. And that's kind of related to my speech, but anyways.
Very good. And he's back, going strong. So let's give a warm welcome to Rich DeVoe.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. I want to thank Robin for helping me partake in the hat festivities tonight. Distracting, so I'll go ahead and take that off. And my speech tonight is from the Successful Club series. And these are a series of speeches about how to have a better club. It's a little informative. There's a lot of Toastmasters propaganda here. But at the same time, I'm going to add my own point to it, which is brought up by the by the title, called Closing the Sale. And I don't think you close a sale, because that implies a win-lose situation. When you say you closed a sale, you made someone do something that they don't want to do. That's what I think that word has a connotation, and I don't think that's necessarily true. So before you discuss closing a sale, you have to know a little bit about the product. And Toastmasters has certain meeting standards that need to be fulfilled every time the club happens. And that's everywhere, all across the world. There's hundreds of thousands of members, like 245,000, something like that. And we're not doing that good right off the bat. Meetings don't generally begin and end on time here, but it's kind of a minor point, because I think it's the spirit that really counts. And we're on time a lot of times. So there's things we can improve on. But I think most of our participants, if you're delivering a speech, you generally arrive at least a little bit before the meeting starts, and you're prepared and you're ready to go. Your computer set up, the camera set up. You got to remember to do that type of thing. And I'm talking to the potential new members here a little bit. I know we have a few of them tonight. I actually thought that the tonight, but it kind of is, so that's kind of cool at the same time here. So we have many club members too. Again, we're talking about the product, the Toastmasters product. We have club officers like Chris and Robert who fulfill their duties and help organize, and that's vital. And you need that in every club for the club to be successful. Meetings proceed at a good pace. People approach the lectern when it's appropriate. You introduce yourself, you close appropriately. And every project is a manual project, because Toastmasters provides a credential called the Distinguished Toastmaster. That's the entire goal of the club, and that can produce, I've heard, tens of thousands of dollars for you in extra salary, or it could just be, a good looking thing on your resume. And plus, but at the same time, you have to remember that it's the skills that you develop while you're here. That is what it genuinely is all about. Is the intangible things that you feel. It's not like, something that's written down on a piece of paper. It's not a credential you achieve in Toastmasters. So we talked a little bit about the product of Toastmasters. Now we're going to talk about selling that product. And once again, I think the word selling and the word closing are terrible words to describe this. And Toastmasters has the right spirit. And, they can't really call it something different besides closing the sale, so my point is kind of a moot one. But they want it to be a win-win situation when a new member joins. It's not a win-lose situation. It's not like you're forcing someone to come to Toastmasters again and again and again, because let's face it, that doesn't happen. Someone's either committed to learning the speaking skills in Toastmasters and the leadership skills in Toastmasters, or you're not. And that's just really what it comes down to. And you're free to leave and come back like I have when you want to. And you're free to get as much as you want out of it as you want. And that's really the conclusion. So that is always a win-win situation, and Toastmasters backs it up with 245,000 plus members. People are getting a lot out of this club, and it is built around a win-win situation. Irregardless of whether or not closing the sale implies a win-win situation, but I just wanted to make the point that those are bad words to describe it. So I kind of alluded to the more intangible benefits of Toastmasters. We discussed a little bit how the meeting goes, and every project is a manual project, and there's this credential called the Distinguished Toastmaster. But there are, of course, intangible benefits to joining this. You can't really wrap your arms around what improved speaking abilities looks like. I didn't know when I first joined how it would feel to deliver a speech 2 years in. I'm sure no one else did who has been in the club that long. So it's kind of something you discover as you go. The manuals talk a lot about it, like in the communicator manuals. The first manual you'll get if you join. Another portion of the Toastmasters track, kind of a secondary portion of the Toastmasters track, is the leadership track. And people think that Toastmasters is all about speaking, but it's also a leadership organization too, because if you think about it, 255,000 plus members don't just organize themselves. It's the people who step up to provide something in a leadership capacity that keep the club actually going. Like Chris or Robert, even I try to film some videos and do stuff like that. So it's those individual contributions, and obviously the high-ranking members as you go up. There's, I think, area and then division, and then I'm not even going to try to describe the whole hierarchy, but there's even a president of the entire Toastmasters organization who volunteers his time to be the head of this entire nonprofit organization. So obviously, you get better social skills when you join Toastmasters. You don't really need to go into that one. And you get greater self-esteem. If you can get up here and deliver a speech, if you get over the bad feelings that you have, your butterflies start to fly more in formation. That was a way that someone described it to me, which actually makes a lot of sense, in my opinion. You just handle it a little better. You're still, maybe a little nervous or something, but it's not, a deal breaker. So here we have some official Toastmasters propaganda provided. It's an acronym for CLOSE, but once again, I don't like the word, but they've come up with some things. And I would just call this, they call them techniques. These are techniques for closing the sale. Now, how cheesy does that sound? I was trying to avoid that word at all costs. But these are just ways you can fully describe the benefits of a Toastmasters membership. And one is to compare. For instance, the Dale Carnegie course costs like hundreds of dollars for a weekend, maybe a couple weekends in a row. I don't really know the details. Toastmasters is something like $30 a quarter. I don't know, how much do we owe this quarter?
$42 for 6 months.
For $42 for 6 months. That's $21 a quarter. So that's amazing. Lou, I really don't like this word, lose. They're trying to say here what you have to lose by not joining. You could lose your anxiety over public speaking. You might actually lose a potential credential or some skills that might help you at work and produce greater income. There are things you can lose, but I just don't like the word lose there. Opinion is an obvious one. Offer your opinion. Again, we're talking about closing the sale, talking to a new member about why it's important to join the Toastmasters Club. Offer your opinion. Say, Toastmasters is a great organization that's helped me develop some good skills, helped me succeed at work, and that's just my opinion. Offer a story. I've already kind of alluded to this already. When I first joined, I was not nearly as good of a speaker. Some people will tell you that in the club, but I've improved over time, and that's my personal Toastmasters story. I remember some of the early speeches I did, and they weren't as organized, they weren't as, fluent. I actually got up in front of more people at like a contest and delivered speeches, which was fun. So, everyone here in Toastmasters has a little bit of a story. And an example, I just gave an example that's all these things kind of allude to the same thing, which is just describe the benefits of a Toastmasters membership a little bit more. Good song there. The vice president of membership is a great help, and again, this sounds like propaganda. It's really funny. It's a great help and asset to you when you want to join the club. He will, and I think in this case it's Robert, who's just the president, who I always would go to help fill out the form. And we're talking about the details now. We're just wrapping up with some details about how to join the club. You fill out the paperwork. Any good organization with hundreds of thousands of people involved has good paperwork, details. Everything here is handled. It's very organized. It's very professional here at Toastmasters. Your membership status would be new. If you've never been to Toastmasters before. In Eddie's case, it would be reinstated, I think. Renew. In my case, you might have 2 memberships. You might transfer your membership. Again, I already talked about the financial part. I think new members pay a $20 introductory fee, and then it's, $21 a quarter, and that changes. It's not exactly what it is, and once again, it's very, very cheap compared to different seminars or books that you might buy. And this is a club that helps you develop skills in practice. This isn't something you read about on a page or something that you listen to in like an audio program, or you listen to someone talk at a seminar. This is actually you getting up and practicing skills in practice, which is very different from, because we have a culture that is just layered in theory and extra BS, in my opinion. And you have to develop skills in practice to make anything worthwhile. So here, this is just showing you, once again, that, how you doing, guys? Glad you joined here.
Part of the lateness.
All different languages are listed on the Toastmasters application, which is showing you that this club is known around the world, multiple continents, many, many countries. It's really showing you that there's a great scope to this club, and it's really pretty amazing once you start to get into it. So then this is just reminding you that you need to sign on the dotted line to make everything official, just like in business and everything, in many other parts of life. You need to sign on the dotted line to make it official that you're a new member. So here, in conclusion, we have some more Toastmasters propaganda, which is that enthusiasm plus techniques for closing the sale. We already went over that. I think that's a little bit of BS. Plus, knowing meeting roles, having meeting roles being fulfilled in the meeting that you're at as a guest, seeing that it's all regulated, that there's manual speeches that lead to this credential that could provide this great income for you, that helps you develop different skills for work purposes, for personal purposes. These are all things to remember. There's plenty of mentor assistance here. Just talk to anyone after the meeting, just casually. Tell them, they'll tell you how you did in your speech. You can offer something to them. Toastmasters is very great about that. It's very, very casual to do stuff like that. And then Chris has developed new member packets, which I think is a fantastic way to introduce new members to the program. So it's very organized. So once you're done with the meeting guests, if you would like to figure out more, Chris will give you a new member. You can come back one more time as a guest or not, and then you can choose whether or not you're committed to learning the skills of Toastmasters, and you can leave at any time. You need to, like I said, figure out if you're committed, if you want to learn speaking skills, if you want to join the leadership track maybe someday, if you want this credential, and ultimately, in conclusion, and let me scroll down just a little bit here, this will be a win-win situation for you, as it has been for hundreds of thousands of Toastmasters members all across the world. Mr. Toastmaster.
Great job.
Thank you.
Madam Connor, may we have 1 minute to write out against comments? All of you have